Georgia Public Broadcasting presents the 2004 Georgia High School Association's football semifinals. Funding for this program is provided in part by Georgia Electric Membership Corporation, IBEW Local 613, South Trust Bank, Georgia's Dodge Dealers, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, State Farm, Huddle House, and by viewers like you.
Live from the Georgia Dome, it's the semifinals of the 5A division. This one featuring the Panthers of Parkview coming in at 12-1 on the season. They will meet the Raiders of Walton High. They too are 12-1 on the campaign. And welcome everybody inside of the Georgia Dome. Charles Ward, Gerald Riggs, glad you could join us. Gerald, this one features a matchup of two teams that started their seasons here in the Dome. And tonight, both are looking for different results. Let's start out by talking about the Panthers of Parkview and their season.
Well, you're right. Parkview is here back for some unfinished business as they did lose earlier on in the Corky Kell Classic. Well, you know what? One of the players responsible for this team not losing a game since then is their quarterback. And look at the senior, number 11, Jeff Witt. On the season, 67 completions, over almost 1,500 yards passing, 15 TDs, only 2 interceptions. He also has 7 rushing TDs to his credit. And his other partner over there, a very versatile defensive player for the team, and that's number 45, Stephen Gowland. As you see it on the season, 109 tackles, 6 for losses, 6 sacks. He also is a tight end who has 3 touchdowns for himself, too. When I think about balance, when I think about Parkview, they have it on both sides of the ball.
Of course, the Panthers of Parkview, coached by Coach Cecil Flo. We caught up with him before the ball game to get his thoughts about the game plan for the Panthers in this semifinal matchup.
You know, offensively, we have to play ball control. I mean, you can't turn the ball over. You got to play keep away from the other team. We need to move the sticks, you know, make first downs, throw when we want to, not when we have to, and be very balanced and, you know, just not be predictable. And that's what we're trying to do. Defensively, you know, you've got to limit the number of chances the offensive team has. You play good people, and you can't put your defense on the short field. You've got to keep them on the field where they can defend it, and they can give up a few yards, and then we can get the ball back when they punt.
Of course, the Raiders of Walton, they lost in their first ball game here from the Georgia Dome. Gerald, let's talk a little about the Raiders now.
Well, you're right. They did the same thing, too, in the early part of the season. They're back here to see if they're really for real. And one of the guys they've been riding all season long is their great running back, the senior Justin Forte. You see on his rushing stats, over 2,000 yards rushing this year, 7.1 average, 25 TDs. Both are school records. And on the other side for defense, they have number 44, Tyler Perry. He's the guy in the middle, 133 tackles on the season, 6 for losses, 1 sacks. They have defense, they have offense. We'll find out there for real.
Ed Dudley is the head coach for the Raiders. We got his thoughts about the game plan for them tonight.
Tonight, we want to be able to establish our run game. We're an inside and outside zone team. We like to run the counter. We want to get our tailback set up, Justin Forte, who's got 2,200 rushing yards this year, done a great job for us. Defensively, we've got to try and hold the run game down with our basic 4-3 defense and then stay after their quarterback, Witt, who's a great player, and we think he's a big key to the game. We really need to kind of slow him down.
The third man on our broadcast team is John Nelson. Nelly standing by at sideline. Johnny.
Charles, the way things are with Walton, we'll start with them. While they may be here for the first time in the semifinals, this is not the first time they've been with the Dome. So with that game in the Corky Kell Classic earlier this year, they don't have Domeitis whatsoever. But with that loss to Stars Mill, it caused them to kind of reflect on things offensively. Jamie Hallen was their star. He had an injury, groin injury, only got 8 snaps in that ball game. And as a result, they kind of tweaked things, built it down, built it back up. Justin Forte, and we know what has things gone for Walton from there. Now, also, if you ask Walton, they're kind of thinking that they've been flying below the radar. Ed Dudley, the head coach, says, that's fine with us. We'll just go ahead and play. We'll see what happens. Send it back upstairs to you guys.
Okay, thank you, John. 2 teams that started their seasons in the Dome. Tonight, one will end theirs. We'll come back and we'll find out from the Dome. And we are ready to get it started from the Georgia Dome. Semifinals of the 5A. Like that little music.
Yeah, you know, get me up here doing a Cabbage Patch or something, but it's let's get it started.
And we are underway. Parkview will kick it away. And back deep. It'll be the Raiders working at the left side. It's Strickland on the carry. Strickland works it up near the 24-yard line. And Walton, the Raiders, will come on offense first to get us going in this semifinal matchup. Raiders at 12-1 on the season, are up to this point. Finished 9-1 during the regular season. Quarterback Ross Applegate leads that Raider offense. 60 completions, 850 yards, 6 touchdowns, 3 to 4 interceptions during the course of the campaign. We'll meet the rest of the Raiders after this first play. Shotgun for the Raiders. And a quick pitch right side. Trying to work the corner is Justin Forte, but Forte is pulled down behind the line of scrimmage. As we take a look at Forte back to the huddle, we'll take a quick look at the starters for the Raiders. Up front, it's Paris and Lennar at the tackles, Fuller, McGinn at the guards, and Reinschel is the center for the Raiders. Running back is Howland. Forte, you just saw him run that one. Strickland's the wide out, Clary's the other, and your tight end is Freeberg. Raiders, very potent offense during the course of the campaign. We'll see how they start here in the Dome. Applegate sends a man in motion. Left side to give it to Forte, and goes back right side. Into the secondary, past the 30, up near the 34. Caleb King, the sophomore, in on the stop for Parkview, but a nice run by Forte.
As you can see him coming right here in your living room. He makes a nice cut back here to his right side, and I tell you what, if they're going to have the holes open like that or try to over pursue on him, you can see he's going to take advantage of it.
Let's meet that Parkview defense now. Up front, it's Gowland, Palmer, Aycock, and Hines. The men up front for Parkview, the linebacking core. Giela's not in that lineup tonight. Bollinger and Uloa in there for Parkview. And the secondary is King, Miller at the corners, and Esmond, Sudduth, both good safety men for Parkview. A solid defense as we take a look at this measurement. That's what the Raiders have left on this third down effort.
That's what you're going to have against this Parkview defense. You're never going to have yourself in long situations because their defensive backs on the year are very, very good. Talked about around the whole state.
Jack Grobenstein, the junior, replacing Kyle Giela. Of course, Giela had that broken jaw in the playoffs, so he's done for the season. So Grobenstein, the junior, will start in place of Kyle Giela. A big loss of Parkview in that linebacking spot. But Grobenstein has done well up to this point. Third down now. Less than a yard to go for the Raiders of Walton. Applegate on the handoff. Forte waits for it to clear, but nothing ever cleared. We'll see where they mark him as to whether he got that first.
Looks like he got a good spot from here. But I tell you what, a very, very tough run in there. Everybody trying to squeeze it down and try to either maybe go outside, but they weren't going to give him anything up the middle. Very, very tough Parkview defense. That time I think they get the first down.
Indeed, it will be a Raider first down. Travis Sudduth, the junior safety for Parkview, on the stop of Forte. But Forte working it for the Raider first down. Just underway in the Georgia Dome. Semifinals of the 5A division. On the ground, sprint draw. They go left side. Forte looking for some room. And swarmed by that Parkview defense left side, led by Steve Edsman, the junior safety.
And the right side of it, I tell you what, they're going to be getting after him a whole lot.
Coach Cecil Flo in his 11th year at Parkview. Look at that winning percentage at 87%.
Well, he's the man. You know, you look at your programs, any program across the state, they want to be like this one.
Look at that replay. Forte just drew a crowd on the carry. He picked up 1 on it. Second down, picked up 2, 2nd and 8 for the Raiders now. Football at their own 36. Applegate, short drop out in the flats. With the catch is Strickland. Strickland up near the 44 and awfully close to the first down marker again.
Spread the defense out. Hopefully that's what they can do as Strickland gets out outside. A quick pass, that quick hitch pass out there, getting him in the open and let him run and do his thing.
Strickland, the leading receiver for the Raiders on the year. Fine catch and rack, or run after catch by Strickland, close to the first down. 3rd and 1 for Walton. Walton has never won a state championship in football. Ranked number 9 in the state. Here's a 3rd and 1. Left side, Forte's got enough room for the first. Works it up near the 46-yard line.
I think right now Parkview is finding out that this Walton team, with the running back Forte, they are going to lean on him heavily. And if they can't put a little bit more pressure against the run, they're going to start going side to side, trying to get him to maybe get a little winded there. But right now, Walton's showing everybody that they've got a horse that they're going to lean with, and they're going to continue to run him.
They call him Justin Big Play Forte. And Justin runs for the first down. Raiders from their 45. Over to Forte left side. Forte springs it ahead left side. May have gotten 3, close to 4 on the carry.
I'll tell you what, they are really looking like they're going to utilize number 79 Berwick of Walton, because he is actually not Berwick. I'm sorry about that, but Mark Fuller. Excuse me. As you see at Justin Forte's stats on the season, 25 rushing TDs, 2,044 rushing yards, single season records there at Walton. And I was talking about 79 Fuller. He's a guy out there with those mixed shoes on out there. But you know what? He's been coming off the ball quite a bit. Hopefully, he won't bring too much attention to himself with those different shoes on.
Well, he already did. 2nd down and 7. They go Forte left side. He's found some crease there. Forte near the 45-yard line. Again, close to the Raider first down. And inside of Parkview territory.
Well, you know what they're doing here against Parkview is similar to a stretch offense. They're not really trying to just go man up. They're trying to get them to run and then letting the running back take the creases. And as Parkview they don't do a better job of getting in those creases. Forte is going to have a big day rushing.
Drew Ulola on the stop for the Panthers. But Forte close to the first down marker, 3rd and less than a yard for the Raiders. Approaching the 6:30 mark in this first quarter, and right now the Raiders have held the football to duration. On the ground. Forte, if it works, why not stick with it? He's got enough for the first.
And they're laying heavily on their 3 interior linemen, the centers and the guards.
Coach Ed Dudley, he's in his 10th year at Walton. Not a bad winning percentage there at 69%, 76 wins, just 33 losses. And really done a wonderful job with that Walton program. Forte following the blocks, and they move the chains. First and 10 now from the 42 of Parkview. Draw left side. Forte fights it back to the inside, but this time hit pretty hard near the 40-yard line. Stephen Gowland, the senior defensive end on the stop. Grobenstein, the junior, got in as well.
And I was just going to mention Gowland on that. He did a nice job getting down the line of scrimmage to try to close in on that play and stop it for a very, very short gain.
So 2nd down now for the Raiders of Walton. The Raiders won their region title this year. It's the 2nd year in a row they've done that. First region title under Coach Dudley came in 1999.
Just been getting knocked out of the playoffs.
That's the thing. This is the hump they're trying to get over this year. 2nd down and 8 now. Delayed handoff left side. Forte hits it hard, but he runs into a solid orange and white wall. Steve Edsman, the safety, on the hit of Forte.
And one of the great names I think we're going to probably call or hear a couple times today, and that's Gator Parker, who came in and closed in on that play from the backside. running a counter play. This is what they do at Parkview. They have a lot of different plays to run from the running game, but I tell you what, they run things very, very well. And they're a form of the counter trade, but they really had very short yards on that play.
It's third down situation now for the Raiders. Perhaps see Applegate facing a 3rd and 7, take it to the air. Action, right side, got a man there over the shoulder, but threw it high and long. Intended for Jamie Hallen out of the backfield, but overthrown by Applegate.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's very unfortunate for Applegate because he had actually 2 men open down the field, even past where he threw the ball. But I think he was just trying to do the safe thing. And as you saw there, he threw the ball to number 34, Hallen, for an incomplete pass. But look for them to come back to that play later on in the game.
And the news gets worse for the Raiders. The flag was down on the play. It was a holding call against the Raiders. As you take a look at the officiating crew, Chip Huffman, your referee, Jerry Sagas, your umpire, Mark Turner, the linesman, Cedric Johnson, line judge. Back judge is Leighton Williams, and your field judge is Vic Johnson. So surprisingly, the Panthers elect to take the penalty here. And that'll push the Raiders back into their own territory.
10-yard penalty, replay 3rd down.
Well, the way that they've been moving the ball, I think you don't take a chance on that. You know, they could possibly come up with a pass play. And I think the coaches probably realize that, hey, we had a couple guys running free down there. We don't want to give them another shot at that play again with, you know, hey, make them move back.
One guy on offense, the other on defense here. As you take a split look at the coaches on your screen. And a big 3rd down play, 3rd and now 24. Applegate with the drop, pumps once, here comes the pressure. They flush him right side, raises, fires downfield, pass going to be caught. Catch by Strickland. Strickland at the 30-yard line, and believe it or not, the Raiders have converted. On a 3rd and 24, Michael Strickland, the junior wideout, went airborne to catch the pass. And they come down with the 1st down.
And as I said, you don't give him another chance. But in this case, as Strickland gets open down here, as you can see, Gallen, he's trying to get around there. And Strickland just stopped there in the area and got his hands up. It's a smart thing to do with your quarterback to come back and help him. Just show your numbers and sit down, let him find you. And that's exactly what happened. And they connect, make a big play. Really what the big part about it was see where Strickland gets on his feet, gets a few more yards after the catch.
Run after catch is always important. Strickland with a good job there. Forte bangs at the left side. Got it inside the 25, down near the 24.
Well, we're expected to call his name quite a bit today because Forte is the man that makes that offense go, and they lean on him heavily.
Michael Strickland, the leading receiver for the Raiders on the campaign, 34 catches, 485 yards, over 14 yards per grab with 4 touchdowns. If they are in passing situation, normally look for Strickland to be on the receiving end of the pass. Just a junior for the Raiders.
A nice receiver to have back for next year. You know, he seems to be a very, very active receiver and can move around out there.
Strickland at 6'2". Nice big target. Timeout was taken by the Raiders of Walton. They want to talk it over, facing a 2nd down and 7. 3:33 remains 1st quarter. It's viewers like you to help make local programs like these GHSA football games possible on Georgia Public Broadcasting. To show your support, simply visit our website at www.gpb.org. It's totally secure, simple to use, and it takes just 2 minutes. And thank you for supporting Georgia Public Broadcasting. GPB at it all weekend from the Georgia Dome. This is our 10th out of 10 semifinal contests coming your way. Glad you stayed with us over the weekend and supported high school athletics and GPB throughout this weekend. Coach Dudley concerned about that football and moving it toward their end zone. They face a 2nd down and 7. On the ground, they fake it to Forte. Now they're going to try to throw back screen. The right side catch is made by Freeberg. Freeberg back into the interior, down near the 19-yard line.
You know, that was a very, very nice call there. Only thing about it is that number 80 Freeberg, you know what? You don't go back in there where your pursuit is. You know, you catch that ball and you get in and outside. You see Malcolm Freeberg on the season, 5 receptions, 101 yards. And right here, as you see, nice little pass. Had it set up nicely, but you don't get back in there. You get in, and then you get back out because of your alignment and your help is going to be outside.
We were forewarned about that by a sideline reporter, John Nelson, that they would come and insert that throwback screen. We've seen it for the first time tonight, and we'll talk about the timing on that if we get an opportunity. But it worked well on that play for the Raiders. They face a 3rd and 3 as a result. On the ground, left side, flag tossed high into the Georgia Dome as Forte took it left side.
I'm trying to figure out here on that play a nice little run there to the right to the left side, but they're going to have to bring it back for a little legal procedure on the offense.
Threw the flag high in the dome. Looks like it will go against the Raiders.
He made it obvious, that's for sure.
No doubt about that. Nothing wrong with the throwing arm.
They had a parachute or something.
Illegal formation. 6 men on the line of scrimmage. Replay 3rd down.
Well, 6 men on the line. I said legal procedure, but 6 men on the line. Okay, he knows what he's talking about. I know.
2:39 and the clock running here in this first quarter of football. And Gerald, believe it or not, these Raiders have kept it the entire quarter.
The entire quarter. That you better, you know what? Think about this later on in the game, because if it comes down close, ball possession is going to be important here.
3rd and 8. Big play though here. Applegate raises, fires, going for Strickland again. This one's batted around, and it's almost intercepted by the Panthers in that secondary near the 10-yard line.
And over there on the play for Parkview, I believe was number 12 over there.
Steve Edmonds. Take a look at the replay. We'll discern who it actually was. Strickland had his hands on it, but it was knocked out of there by the senior cornerback, Darrell Miller.
Okay. Nice play there.
Bollinger.
And knock it out.
Bollinger was that Panther that had an opportunity there to almost intercept it. Now Craig Kamei will come on now to try the field goal. He's converted on along a 48 this season. Low snap. They get it down. Kamei with the kick. Did he get enough of it? Looks like he pushed it right. And indeed he did.
Even though that drive stalled there and they missed the field goal, that has to be something very, very positive for the Raiders of Walton, because they moved the ball against a very, very tough Parkview defense.
Kamei on the kick. The snap was mishandled. Was able to get it airborne. Not able to convert. Take a look at it from behind the huddle. Couple of things wrong on that one, Joe.
Little tipped. I think the ball went the direction that it was tipped that time. That was kind of leaning, tilting.
Actually had it kind of cocked on the tee, and they pushed it to that side. So the Panthers, with their first offensive possession after the defensive stand, they will pitch it right side. It'll be King with the football. He's got some room at the corner, and there goes King. Midfield, a foot race. 30, 20, angles inside. Touchdown, Panthers. It's okay if you get it within 2 minutes remaining in the quarter. If you do that, first time you have that football.
You don't mind them having the ball almost the first quarter. When you have a player like King, he has been described as the big play guy. He is their game breaker, and he shows there that he has the speed to take it the distance. A nice play, setting up, getting on the outside. As you see here, toss right, and King stretches it out, stretches it as far as it can go. And when he hit the sideline, hey, it was, you better get going, boy. Because, you know what, you're being chased. And he gets all the way for the touchdown.
King, the sophomore, with the touchdown run for the Panthers. Brett Snyder on now to try the point after for Parkview. And just that quickly, the Panthers lead it. Brett Snyder with the kick, drives it through. Parkview leads it 7-0. Caleb King on an 80-yard touchdown run. And boy, oh boy, is it good to be the King.
Very good to be the King in this case, as he picks up offensive blocking from all of his players. See number 8 there making a nice block to spring him and get him down the field. That's when you pay attention. You go back to the sideline and you tell these guys, hey, I appreciate you, because you know you gave me a big block there, and that's all I had to do was just take it the distance.
King, not normally a starter for the Panthers, but they put him in on that first offensive possession. And Caleb, the sophomore, takes it the distance, 80 yards.
Isn't it something for Parkview? They just continue to plug players in. They've had running backs there, solid running backs for about the last 5 or 6 years that I've been doing this. So it's really something else to see. Another one that's coming up in the ranks.
Both King and Mong will surely get a chance to see Antonio Mong throughout this ball game. Both sophomores, speaking to exactly what you're talking about, Gerald, the duration of this program, they'll be ready and cocked and loaded again next season. Brett Snyder now on to kick it away for the Panthers. And got to be a little bit disheartening for the Raiders to control the football for so long in that first quarter. And now trail it on the scoreboard. Kicks coming down to Molitorius. Left side. Spins off one defender. And he works his way up near the 35-yard line.
You know, you were saying it was kind of disheartening for them to be in that situation, but you know, it really isn't, because they came out, and as you see here on the return here, number 24 gets upfield and spins out of a tackle there and keeps going. You know, these guys here were probably, everybody kind of, they don't know who they are yet. They're still wondering, okay, what about this Walton Raider team? You know, are they for real? And I think that drive showed you that they are capable of coming out here and playing with Parkview. They just can't have any breakdowns on defense, which they did, and it cost them.
Now the question is, how do the Raiders respond to that 80-yard touchdown run by Caleb King?
That's right.
Applegate, left side, they go to Forte. Forte fights it up near the 40-yard line. It's about a 44-yard jaunt there from the line of scrimmage. Esmond makes the stop for Parkview. 2nd down and 6 now for the Raiders. Panthers of Parkview, of course, have several titles under their belt, or championships. They won it in 1997, 2000, and they went back-to-back in 2001 and 2002 at the 5A level. Applegate with the snap. Forte, left side. Forte follows the box, lays it down, and they get it up near the 44-yard line.
You know, I'm wondering about the strategy that they have here, because, you know, going at them in the middle is probably not the best thing to do.
John Nelson at sideline. Nelly.
Quick note on Justin Forte. Here is a young man who lost 15 pounds in the offseason and late last year because he was battling what turned out to be irritable bowel syndrome. And Ed Dudley has said he's done what he's needed to do on the field and off to become the key running back that Walton has needed this season.
Thank you, John. I understand he lost about 15 pounds as a result of that, but even at 15-pound loss, Forte is quite a back to the hole.
He's come back and really shown himself in a big way.
3rd down, Forte working at the left side. Looks like the Panthers stop him short of the 1st down. Gowland, the senior defensive end, they're running it his way, and Gowland makes him pay. They're going to be short of it. That'll be the end of this first quarter here from the Georgia Dome. At the end of one, it's the Panthers of Parkview leading the Raiders of Walton 7-0. We go out and take a look at the run by Caleb King for the touchdown. We'll take a break and we'll come back to start the second. Back inside the Georgia Dome, it gets set to start the second quarter. The Walton High cheerleaders pepping up the fans, and the band from Parkview doing its job to exhort their Panther faithfuls here in the Georgia Dome. Gerald, you remember Arsenio Hall had that show, and he'd come on and say things that make you just go, First quarter of football.
Yeah.
The Raiders hold the football for 11 minutes, 47 seconds. Parkview has it for just 13. And at the end of the first quarter, Parkview leads it 7-0.
That's why they play the game.
The Raiders on offense now. They're going to punt it away. They muffed it. Snap, but they got it away.
Get going. Get to the end zone. Get to the end zone.
They let it bounce near the 16-yard line.
Let's go.
Garrett is standing deep for the Panthers. So Parkview now will come on offense. Leading at 7-0. We start the second quarter.
Walton hasn't had a chance to really get their defense set. as we get ready to take on Parkview and see Jeff Witt, 45 passing touchdowns, 3,130 passing yards for his career.
Witt's really put up some good numbers in his career.
He's been the man. That offense, having a good quarterback certainly helps.
Of course, Witt transferred into Parkview from Chattahoochee, so a lot of those numbers came from his performance at Chattahoochee. But on the ground for Parkview, Antonio Mon works it right side. May have gotten 2 on the carry. Will meet the rest of the Parkview offense. Up front, it's Parsons, Billinger, Matheson, and Aycock at the guards, and Carden, the center for Parkview. The backfield, McLaurin's a fullback. Mon just carried it. He's the running back. Miller the wide out. Coker the other. And Gowland, we've talked about him. I actually highlighted him in the pregame show, the tight end for Parkview.
They gave Mon his opportunity to make something happen, and it didn't. I think he was in there too long.
Second down now. 9 for Parkview. Witt. Right side, King. King hit at the line of scrimmage, but keeps his feet. Look at King work it past the 20, up to the 21, perhaps the 22.
You know, for all the young kids out there looking and have aspirations of being a running back, watch King as he continues to move his feet and continues to move forward the whole time. It's not like trying to get side, east and west. He's just continuing to turn his legs and get upfield. That's a very, very good thing to coach there for a young man.
The Raider defense, Freeberg up front, Ryan as well, Rosner and Harnett. The 4 men up front for the Raiders. Linebacking core, Stolreyer, Watts, and Perry. Perry's a good one. Secondary, Harkins and Chalk at the corners, Wenzel, Wilbush, the safeties. On the ground, King looking for some room, right side, crunched near the 23-yard line.
And that's what pursuit will do for you. Walton showing there that they are going to be, they're going to get ready to get settled in here and maybe start getting some things going defensively. Good pursuit by the defensive unit there. Didn't make a difference what number. A lot of blue jerseys on the ball.
Watts led the search for the Raiders on defense. Got some help from the senior linebacker, Tyler Perry. They're going to stretch to change. Take a look at this one. King took a hard shot at the end of that run.
How about the nose of the football?
That's your call.
Yeah. A little bit more.
Oh, a little more than a nose.
Well, nose, yeah.
Did you mean the back nose or the front nose?
Well, yeah, the back nose.
Yeah. Only the nose knows. Right?
That's right. As you see there, Red Watts on the night with 115 tackles, 9 for losses, 3 sacks on the season.
Watts, one of those leaders for that Raider defense. So 1st and 10 for Parkview now. From their own 23. Witt fakes it in the lines, going up tops, got some separation downfield, but the pass is incomplete. It was intended for Jarrett Coker, the senior. But Witt threw it slightly away from him.
Well, it was a smart throw in that he did throw it right down the middle because he did have coverage there, and the receiver did get behind. So it was one of those things where, you know what, they're going to come back and try that again, I guarantee you, later on.
Absolutely. They had what they wanted situationally.
Sure did.
2nd down now for Parkview.
Some think that maybe Parkview passing the ball, they're not as effective as they are running the ball. But Witt has shown this year that, he's been able to do that and keep his offense going.
Witt with the quick pitch right side. King looking for the separation. Instead gets clobbered at the sideline by 2 or 3 Raiders led by Tyler Perry, the senior.
And Garrett Ryan was also another one over there, making sure that he didn't get away from the rest of the guys, number 84.
And they are throwing the leather around right now downfield. You see one of the Raiders coming off the sideline to the sideline. Philip Wenzel, the senior. Take a look at combined yards thus far. Parkview leading that battle, the 90-73. They've got 90 of them all on the ground.
80 coming on one play.
Indeed. 3rd down. 10. Shotgun is the set for Witt. With the snap. Here comes the pressure. Unloads across the middle. It's incomplete. Intended downfield for Stephen Gowland. Gowland goes both ways for the Panthers. And the pass thrown slightly behind by Witt.
But you know, that was a good stand there for Walton. As you see there that from there seeing Witt throwing the ball right into your living room. But they good pressure on him, and they get Parkview out of having that ball for a long time. Now we'll see if they can respond offensively.
Brett Snyder to kick it away. Nice kick by Brett Snyder. Strickland going to field it at the 40, looking for some help. Now cuts it up the gut. Spins and down near the 44. McLaurin, the senior, on the stop for Parkview. Good field position for the Raiders to start this drive. Georgia Public Broadcasting commemorates the 75th anniversary of the Fox Theater with a multimedia initiative that includes 2 GPB original productions, radio specials, and an extensive website. The history of the entertainment icon, the fabulous Fox, and the behind-the-scenes special, This Old Movie Palace, Fixing the Fox, premieres December 1st with encore airings throughout December exclusively on GPB. Right side, now they fake it in the line. With the carry is Jamie Hallen, the senior. Hallen got about 2 on the play up the middle.
A nice change of pace here for Walton, and hopefully that's something that will be, they're going to incorporate, I guess, in their game plan as they go along and get the ball out of Justin Forte's hand, because I'm sure he must be tired already, because the kid almost carried the ball almost every single play in that first quarter.
Hallen has put up some decent numbers for the Raiders running the football as well. 2nd down, 6 now. Short hitch, pass out in the flats. Flags coming in on the play. And the Raiders in a bit of motion there. Coach Dudley doesn't like that.
Oh man, to be young again.
Dead ball. Ball start on the offense. 2nd down.
Oh, you just wonder if that young man was let out of the house like that.
I don't think so. It may have taken place just outside the parking lot somewhere.
3 penalties on the Raiders thus far in the ball game.
Just glad he had water up there.
2nd down, 10. Left side, Forte going to try his luck there. Works it toward the sideline, short side of the field. They chase him out. He may have gotten a yard, not a whole lot more. Sutter pushed him out of bounds. Got some help from Caleb King.
And that's what they have to do, is to stretch the ball there. You don't want them to get up the middle on that counter trade, which is where that play is most effective. So you stretch the running back, let it push it to the side, get it going east and west. Because when you're able to turn that play up, it causes a lot of problems and a lot of pressure on the defense.
Forte on the night with 43 yards on 15 carries. Do you know where your children are?
He's no friend of mine.
Shotgun. Applegate's got it. Right side fires upfield, and a comeback route is Strickland near the 45 and runs a perfect route just beyond the 1st down marker.
You know what I like about that? Strickland runs a very, very nice route, and he comes back to the ball. Most receivers will run out there and stop and let the ball come to them. But in this case, Strickland, as you can see there, that Applegate steps up, makes a nice throw, and Strickland comes back and catches it with his hands. You see a lot of guys with body catchers, but he catches it right with his hands.
Strickland just showing himself to be a prototype receiver. And only a junior, certainly going to be drawing a lot of attention next year from the recruit scouts. 1st and 10 on the ground. Forte looking for the corner. Works it, finds it, spins to the 40, up near the 42-yard line. And inside of Panther territory, Gator Parker, the junior, on the stop for Parkview.
Well, you know what, Forte here, this kid has some heart. He has to have some heart, because you know what, he's running out there, he's in space, and they're running him like, really, like a horse. They're laying on him. They've done it all year long, and he is the guy that he's got to be ready to take on this team. Almost, in some cases, he's probably won games on his own. Takes a good shot there at the end.
That's his forte.
Oh,
Where are the drums? They go back into the middle. This time Hallen on the carry. And Hallen lunges ahead for the Raider first down.
One thing I've been impressed about this Walton offense so far is that, even though they have had a couple of penalties here, they don't make very many mistakes otherwise. They hold on to the ball. They continue to grind it out. They seem like they're assignment pure in that they're making good contact with on the blocking assignments, and they're sticking to the the Parkview players.
Allen found the seam for the first down. Football at the 32-yard line of Parkview. Approaching the 6-minute mark remaining first half. On the ground, Forte's going to work it out to the corner if he can find room. There's a flag coming in on the play, though. Forte turned end over end near the 22-yard line, but it comes in that area, Gerald, where it's likely a hold.
Yeah, most likely a hold. But as I was watching the offensive line there, they really did a great job of stopping the penetration of Parkview. Just somebody in there got caught, making a hold there. As you see, probably it was one of the offensive linemen pulling a guy down to the ground. But would have been a very, very nice pickup for the Walton offense.
Darrell Miller with the fireman's carry tackle on Forte.
Fireman's carry tackle?
Hey, that's NWA stuff.
Holding on the offense. Replay first down.
Well, I learn something new from you all the time. My sensei.
Hey, Gordon Soley, man. I go way back. Torres brothers. Nick Bockwinkel.
Okay, that's about it. You lost me.
Okay, Dusty Rhodes. There you go.
That's wrestling. That's not. Don't say wrestling. It's wrestling.
1st and 20 after the assessment. Applegate across the middle, found Strickland again. Strickland works it inside. He lost the football. It's loose near the 29. Parkview saying they have it. No agreement from the officials yet. Now they confer and agree that it's Parkview's football.
Well, that's bad, because he was just trying to go for extra yards, and that's the time when you have to really take care of the football. You're there, you're getting it open, you're trying to make something happen, and you just got to keep that ball close to your body. That's one thing you don't want to have happen. Can't have turnovers with this Parkview team.
Just took a shot in the arm in which he was carrying the football, and they knocked it loose.
There's that Gator Parker getting there. He was one of the main guys in there. The action causing the ball to get knocked loose, and somebody recovered the ball for Parkview.
So the turnover by the Raiders gives it back to the Panthers. Left side, King looking for a block. They try to spring him, but King works his way up to the 31, perhaps the 32.
Similar play as they running to the left side this time, but Walton does a very good job with pursuing the play, stretching him out, not letting him get turned upfield.
Again, in on the stop for the Raiders. Take a look at Bollinger on the sideline for Parkview. Caleb trying to work it at the corner. But good work by Andrew McGinn, the senior. Stopping him for just 2 yards on the pickup. 2nd and 8. Whip going to try his 3rd aerial of the game. This time looking down the sideline, pass goes incomplete. He had Gowland in stride, and it looked to be a good pass from here. Gowland may have taken his eyes off. It's just not able to pull it in.
Well, you know what? Sometimes you get running downfield that pass. He double clutched it, and when he did, it probably gave him an opportunity, or gave the other guy the opportunity to close in on that play. So the quarterback, Witt, has to make sure that, hey, when he sees him open, he hits him right away, and they got a flag on the play here. Looks like maybe a call.
And it will go against the Panthers.
I'm trying to figure out what that call was. That motion that he gave there, I wasn't used to seeing that.
He'll tell us momentarily what the motion was about.
Offensive pass interference.
He did it with one hand.
Down.
He did it with one hand last time. So
one hand interference.
Yeah.
Coach Flo.
Oh, he's a little hot about that one. Feels that he's got actually not in agreement with that call.
He'll let him know about it.
Oh, you better believe it.
So they push the football back to the 16-yard line. And we're going to have a timeout called by Coach Cecil Flo. Trying to adjust to that penalty assessment. They lead at 7-0. A reminder that all of the football games can also be viewed live on the GPB internet site at www.gpb.org. Just follow the links to connect to the games. That's www.gpb.org. Georgia's longest-running high school weekly sports and academics program, Prep Sports Plus, returns February 10th with a one-hour cheerleading state championship special. Each week, you'll meet some of Georgia's most successful student athletes, athletics programs, and a lot more. That's Prep Sports Plus, returning February 10th, exclusively on GPB. And what a show. GPB and Prep Sports Plus is one of the stalwarts in terms of exposing these high school athletes and programs across the state.
An outstanding
great job. John Nelson down at sideline.
What Cecil Flo is saying is that the player in question was in motion and was nowhere near where the flag was dropped. That's his main contention. That's why he's talking to the officials. He's saying that one player wasn't near the play.
Could the officials have been seeing something that that wasn't there? That's what most people always want to think what happens anyway.
3rd down and 23 now for Parkview. Shotgun for Witt. Gives it to King. King wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. Excellent defensive surge by Garrett Ryan coming from behind that play to pull down the speedy Caleb King.
Running it down from behind, and he got off the ball in a hurry. As he saw the guy pull to go down and trap, and he said, hey, that's the go-ahead for me to get down there and get to the ball, and he did. Gets down there in a hurry and puts Parkview in a 4th down situation.
So Brent Schneider on now to punt it away for Parkview. Molitoris and Strickland back deep to receive. They'll be coming after this one, but he gets it away. Short kick by Brent Schneider. Takes a Parkview bounce, though. Down near the 40-yard line is where the Raiders will take it on offense. So Brent Schneider got a good roll on that. So does Parkview. The Raiders will take it over, trailing at 7-0.
It seems as though Walton has started to settle down now on defense. Certainly after that big play in offense, everybody's starting to think, oh, well, you know, here we go again with Parkview. But Walton has done a very, very nice job last couple of series out with holding Parkview to very little, yardage, even though they've held the ball for a little bit. But Walton has done a very good job against the run and the pass.
Applegate at 5 of 6 early here in the dome for 54 yards. Connected on most of those to the wideout Michael Strickland. On the ground, sprint draw right side. Forte cuts it back to the inside. Forte past the 45. Near the 46. Grovenstein, the junior linebacker, made the stop on him.
And I tell you what, they better give some props to Grovenstein there, because Forte did a nice job with picking it there, and you see Grovenstein stepping in. He was the last man between he and the goal line. Very, very nice play by Grovenstein.
2nd down and 4. Out in the flats to Strickland. Strickland with the grab and the 1st down. Spins off one blocker, works it out of bounds. Inside of Parkview territory, near the 47.
Now this is working a little bit different. Parkview has very, very good corners out there. And I think what they're doing here is Applegate throws his pass here out to Strickland. Instead of running a hitch play, what they're trying to do is get them out, get him back in the backfield, almost like a wide sweep. That's basically what this play is. And they're using Strickland to get out there, get him in space, and get some plays down, and make some yards downfield.
Strickland has been very effective for the Raiders in this 1st half. Saved the one drop after the fumble, after the reception. On the ground, Forte looking for some room. Found just a bit as he got it inside the 45, near the 44, perhaps the 43.
And that front line there of Parkview is still one of those lines that they work hard. They're blue-collar workers. They will get in there. They will slug it out with you the entire game if you want to do that. As you see these guys here trying to come off the ball, hey, it's just stand the offensive lineman up, and see if they can move us out. If they can't move us out, we're going to get off the blocks and we're going to make tackles.
And you take a look at the Raider front line to the line of scrimmage. That's a big group. 2nd down and 8. Pitch right side. They give it to Howland. Howland works it past the 40. Lost the football again on the surface. They're going to rule this one down, though. Howland down near the 38-yard line.
I thought he was down. It looked like to me that he hit the ground and the ball came out after that. Although Parkview coaches will disagree with me, because of course they're going to fight for every inch and claw for every yard for their team. As he gets here, makes a nice cut up field.
Palmer made the stop.
Yeah, it was out. It was down. I'm going to say it was.
The only way you can tell is a great shot by the camera crew. Let's get on to Nelly at sideline. John.
Little love to Jamie Howland. He says, Ed Dudley says that only the offensive coordinator knows the offense any better. Justin Forte says he's the guy that keeps the linebackers off me.
Forte hit hard at the line of scrimmage on a 3rd down play. Don't believe they're going to give him enough progress for a first down on that play, Gerald.
It's going to be very, very close in there as that Parkview defensive front. They came off the ball that time. They beat them to the snap. They played the game almost on the other side of the line of scrimmage, getting off the ball to stop Forte from getting that first down.
Greg Billinger, this junior, had the surge up front for Parkview. They'll force a timeout by Coach Ed Dudley and the Raiders to think over this 4th down situation. 1:15 left first half. Obviously, they want to try to punch something in before the break.
Well, you know, it would be nice with only 1:15 seconds left. I think that it would be great to go in and really a great sense of accomplishment to say that you're going in here with one of the best teams in the state and you're tied with them. But you don't want to go in behind. Hopefully they can't get something going here, but it's going to be tough doing here against a very stingy Parkview defense.
Coach Dudley ponders it. Won his 100th career win and the quarterfinal win of the Raiders when they beat the Wildcats of Valdosta. And over a 10-year span with the Raiders, Coach Dudley at 76 wins, 33 losses.
Did the unthinkable, most people would say. Beat a Valdosta team. But they understand that Valdosta is a team, you know, they got a lot of history behind it, but they haven't been in Valdosta of the old Valdosta.
I think I understand that.
I know you do. You know, only you would, so that's why I threw it out to you. Now nobody else out there understood what I said.
Well, I'm glad you're just talking to me then. 4th down play, a big one here, both sides of the football. They give it to the man, Forte. Hit at the line of scrimmage, but a second effort. It looks like Forte's going to get it.
Boy, it's going to come down to that right foot, left foot spot from the official, because I'll tell you what, I'm going to have to look at the number of that truck that came in there to hit Forte.
Grovenstein, the junior linebacker, plugged the hole. But Forte, not to be denied, worked off of the tackle and got enough for the first. Such a big play there for the Raiders. Clock running in a minute now. They've got to hurry to at least get it in field goal position. Applegate going to do the throwback screen to Strickland now. Strickland inside the 30, spins his way down near the 29-yard line. Bollinger on the stop for Parkview.
Boy, they're letting an awful lot of time go off this clock for just to spike the ball.
The catch was made by Jason Clary. Correction on that, not Strickland on the previous catch. But Clary with the grab. And that'll make it 3rd down. 30 seconds remaining. Now the kicker for the Raiders, Kamei, maybe within his range as we take a look at what's going on in the 4A Division Championship next weekend. It'll be the Demons of Warner Robins traveling down to Statesboro. They'll be hosted by the Blue Devils of Statesboro. That one at 7:30, December 4th. And then on Saturday night, December 4th at 6, it'll be the Lowndes Vikings live on GPTV. It'll either be the Panthers of Parkview or the Raiders of Walton. Left side now, Forte looking for some room, and Forte just keeping the feet moving. Trying to get it out of bounds, though. Grovenstein made the tackle on him.
And he was turning those legs, trying to get outside. As you see here, he runs off tackle, makes a nice nifty move outside, gets a stiff arm, gets tackled there by Grovenstein. I tell you what, he probably saved them quite a bit of time off the clock. as they spike the ball again. Or did he get a first down? Yeah, he got the first down.
Forte did on the run,
yeah.
so Applegate spiking it there with 20 seconds left. They'll take maybe a shot, perhaps 2 at the end zone.
Well, if they don't, I think that maybe to get to 3 would at least be something to say that you went in accomplishing something. They have a field goal kicker, even though he missed the first one. He's certainly capable of putting it through from the distance.
Kamei has hit from 48 yards out as Applegate shows shotgun with the snap, looking to his right. On the comeback route, it's airborne and intercepted by the Panthers. Down the sideline is Miller. Miller with 1 man to beat, back to the inside. Miller now being chased by Carey, and he'll go in and score the touchdown for Parkview. My, oh my, how things change.
85 yards on that interception there. I tell you what, you go to the well a little bit too often, and it's not the fact that the play wasn't open, but they just didn't execute. Ball's tipped off the receiver's hands, and they had the receivers, the defensive backs there to make a play on the ball.
The conversation was about what the Raiders would possibly get before the break, perhaps a touchdown, at least a field goal. But everything changes, and the Panthers of Parkview score the touchdown. Much to the dismay, you saw the smirk on the face of Coach Ed Dudley after those change of events.
Yeah, you know, it's almost that look of saying, gosh almighty, why did we try that a little bit too much? You know, we went to it just one time too many, and we burned ourselves, shot ourselves in the foot.
Brett Snyder connects on the point after, so the Panthers lead it with 3 seconds remaining in the first half, 14-0. After that, young man Daryl Miller takes an interception back 85 yards for the Parkview touchdown. And let's take a look at it.
You know, that's a chance that you take sometimes with trying to continue to throw to that wide side of the field. Even though they had the play, if something happens, there's not very many people over there to defend, and as a result, he takes it the distance, 85 yards for a touchdown for Parkview, and they go in to up 2 touchdowns at halftime.
The pass was intended for Garrett. Garrett on the comeback, not able to pull the football in. It was perfectly thrown by Applegate. But coming up with it, there's Miller. And Miller gets to 6 for Parkview. So the Panthers on 2 big plays in this first half, able to lead it 14-0, and we're headed into a break.
And that's what it's been too. Just 2 plays. I put Walton in this position. The 85-yard interception and the 80-yard run there by King. So
Miller with his 11th interception on the season, Gerald. And he's second on the list in terms of interception for Parkview. Of course, Jeff Francoeur holds a record with 15 season interceptions, and that came in the 2000 season.
Right.
And on the kick, the Raiders will cover it at the 30-yard line. And that runs us out of time here in this first half. There's been big play Parkview here in this first half of football. One for 80, another for 85 yards. And they lead it 14-0 in this first half. The winner will meet the Vikings of Lowndes High School for the championship. And right now, the first half belongs to the Panthers of Parkview. Panthers leading at 14-0. And down at field level, John Nelson with Coach Cecil Flo. Nelly.
Here we are heading off Cecil Flo. Big plays in the first half. Time of possession was all theirs, but the points are all yours.
Yeah, you know, they're big. Boy, they're big. Boy, and they knock you around off the ball, and the back's real good. And we knew that, you know, and they're throwing the ball around on us a little bit. You know, we've been able to break up a couple of things, and then we got the ball in Caleb's hands and got a good touchdown. And you know, they do have us on time of possession, but our defense has played hard. You know, you bend and you keep scheming and keep scheming, and you know, we got them to make a mistake right there. And Daryl's good, you know, and he was able to bring it back. So we got 14 on the board. We get the ball in the second half, and we got to hold it for a while.
And once again, these are 2 teams mirror images. You knew what to expect. You're stopping Justin Forte pretty much.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, to an extent. I mean, he's a good back. He's getting yards. We're just trying to keep him going across the goal line. So, you know, we got our work cut out for us. We got another half to play, and we get the ball and we'll try to do better.
And once again, no real big changes. You're pretty much going to dance with the girl that brung you this far, right?
That's right. You know, you just stay with what's good and, you know, keep your foot on the floor. You can't lift now.
Spoken like a true NASCAR driver. Let's send it back up to our own pit crew, Charles Ward and Gerald Riggs.
Thank you, Nelly. At the intermission, it's a 14-0 lead for the Panthers of Parkview over the Raiders of Walton High. We'll step aside for a timeout. We've got some music for you at the break. Back live at the Georgia Dome at the intermission. Parkview leading at 14-0. Down at field level, it's the Panther marching band from Parkview High School, 155 members, performing music by Leonard Bernstein. And we'll go down and we'll take a listen. Parkview band just concluding at halftime. Let's go down to the field level with John Nelson.
Thank you, Charles, here with Allen Beach of the Marching Panthers. And let's talk about the effort that it took to get the Panther band to the point to where it is now. Let's talk about the community effort and everybody out there in Littleton.
Well, over the years, you know, we've just had tremendous community support. The football program hadn't hurt a bit because we got a lot of exposure and a lot of support from the football program, and we've tried to throw a lot of encouragement that way too. And so it's built up into something that almost perpetuates itself now as far as getting geared up for football.
And talk about getting geared up for playing here at the Georgia Dome. It's kind of old hat for you guys. You've been here before, but for each individual class, I'm sure it's exciting that much more for them.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, us old guys that are in the teaching business here, we have to remember that the young guys, the kids, they get 4 years max out of it, you know, and so it's new and fresh and exciting to them. And so we just have to keep building them up and ourselves up so it's still an exciting big thing. It is a big deal to them, and it's fun.
And when it comes into preparing a number 4, whether it's a Georgia Dome or just in general, talk about, I guess, the progression, what it takes, the time, the care, and the effort to give them something that they would enjoy and that you would enjoy, and it translates to the audience.
Sure. Well, that music selection is 90% of the game for marching band and concert band, and our main goal is that we want to pick something that hopefully the crowd will enjoy, but more importantly that the kids will enjoy, because at Parkview we play 13, 14, 15 games a year, and it needs to be challenging and worth working on for that length of time.
Allen Beach, thanks for your time.
Thanks a lot.
Great effort here at the Dome. Let's send it right back upstairs to Charles and Gerald.
Thank you, John, and to Mr. Beach. Fine performance by the Parkview band. And not a bad performance by the football team either in this first half. They lead at 14-0 over the Raiders of Walton. We'll step aside for another timeout, come back with the Walton High Band. Back live at the Georgia Dome. Panthers leading at 14-0 at the break. The Walton High Band performing down at field level. Let's go down and take a listen. marching Raider band with 210 members performing at the Dome. John Nelson standing by with the director, Mike Back. John.
Thank you, Charles. We've had a little funk. We've had a little Pat Metheny. Now we're getting a fight song. They didn't know Pat Metheny. I know you and I do. I guess we're dating ourselves.
Now, most of the students had not heard of Pat Metheny, so it's kind of fun to introduce him to them.
So when you're introducing them into an artist or a number that they don't know, how receptive are they, and does it kind of depend?
Well, it depends initially on if they like what they hear, and a lot of them liked the Pat Metheny piece, so we were real pleased with that.
Now let's talk about, you know, the effort here at Raider Valley. It seems like the entire Raider Valley is actually here tonight. The last one turned out the lights on their way here. Talk about the involvement of the parents in the band.
Well, the parents are the backbone of our organization and really of our whole school. The parents are very, very supportive, and they do a lot for our whole community. So the parents are very involved.
Talk about your dream number that you'd like to have these kids do. Is there something that you've always wanted to do that you'd love to have them do?
Well, there's lots of music that we choose from, and to tell you the truth, I've always wanted to do a Pat Metheny tune, so I was really happy that we could do that this year.
Congratulations, Mike Back. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Well done here under the big top. Let's send it back upstairs. We might have highlights and stats and stuff.
Indeed we do. First half highlights from this 5A semifinal matchup from the Georgia Dome. They look this way with a 14-0 lead for Parkview. It was Applegate early on trying to get the passing game in motion for the Raiders. Rolling right side and downfield, found his favorite receiver, Michael Strickland. Strickland with a big first down grab there. There was like 3rd and 27 on that play. They converted, but they go for the field goal, and Kamei with a missed handle on the snap. They missed it right side. Parkview with his first possession, first play from scrimmage, and 80 yards later, it's Caleb King, the sophomore, sprinting, and Parkview down in terms of time of possession, but up on the scoreboard after the run by Caleb King. They led it 7-0. Then back on offense is Applegate trying to get the Raiders back into it. Fires upfield. Once again, it's Strickland. Strickland with the catch, but bumped hard after the catch. The fumble on the play. It comes clear to Gator Parker and the Panthers. Back the other way, they're trying to get at Applegate. This time, Daryl Miller, the cornerback for the Panthers, got in the way, got the interception, and 85 yards later on the return, Miller gets his 11th interception on the season and the second touchdown for the Panthers in this first half. That's where they stand right now. We lead it 14-0. Quick look at the first half stats, Gerald.
I'll tell you what, you look at the stats on here, and it seems like Walton is up in almost every area. You see rushing yards 82 to 88 to Parkview. Total yards 151 yards for Walton, 88 for Parkview. The one thing that sticks out is the turnovers and the time of possession, 1849 to 511 for Parkview.
John Nelson standing by with a concerned Coach Ed Dudley. Nelly.
Thank you, Ches. We're talking about time of possession. Obviously, points mean more. Let's talk about the turnovers.
The turnovers really hurt, especially that one right before the half. That was a bad one. But, you know, we got to come out here and make some big plays ourselves and get back in this thing in the second half.
And it's pretty much, you know, the running game is always going to be there, and that's what you're going to try and do. It's always going to be Justin, Jamie, and go from there, right?
Well, yeah, and I thought our quarterback, Ross Applegate, had an outstanding first half, so we may have to go to him a little bit more this half and get back in this thing.
And pretty much these two teams mirror images of each other, the Gwinnett County influence with the Cobb County influence. So you pretty much knew what you were getting into when you showed up.
No doubt. We knew it was going to be a slugfest. They got a great program, a great team. We just got to try and come back here and outpoint them in the second half.
All right, Ed Dudley, thanks for your time. He's got a 14-point deficit he's got to work on. Let's send it back upstairs.
We've got about 2 minutes before they actually start doing that. We'll step aside for a timeout. We'll come back and get started with the third quarter. Back live at the Georgia Dome semifinals of the 5A division. The Parkview cheerleaders with a lot to cheer about in that first half. Their team leads at 14-0. And there are the Raider cheerleaders from Walton High School, hoping to have a lot more to cheer about in the second half. The two brain trust on your screen. Left, Coach Cecil Flo for the Panthers of Parkview. And at the right side, it's Coach Ed Dudley. They've got a little bit of work to do in this second half to overcome that 14-point deficit and the big plays by the Panthers in the first half to lead it.
Walton has their work cut out for them this second half, and hopefully they can get something going for themselves on offense. But Parkview gets the ball for the second half, and we'll see what Parkview comes out here with. Maybe they've changed up their game plan a little bit in order to try to loosen up the very, very tough Walton defense.
Kamei bangs it hard and pushes it through the back of the end zone. Won't have a run back on that one.
A little bit of leg in that ball, didn't he, huh?
May, really 84% of his kickoffs have been for touchbacks. And actually leads the Walton program in that category. Former Raider standout Philip Newman had a 75% touchback mark on his field kickoff attempts. But with Kamei having such a wonderful year in terms of the deep ball, he's taken that record for the Walton program. The Panthers back on offense now to start this third quarter. Witt. Pro set. On the ground. Right side. Antonio Mong on the carry for the Panthers. Got it up to the 21-yard line. Gerald, it's definitely old hat by now, but coming out of that break, you always hear it told time in and time out again that possession, the first one after the break, is usually the most important. That's why the Panthers deferred in the first half. They'll have it on offense first here. Probably one of the bigger questions is what the Raiders will do with it on their first possession as well.
And you want to see which side is going to set the pace here, set the tone for the game. Your defense, you know, sometimes you want them to be able to start out that second half when they've been cold a little bit. Let them come back out, set that pace for the game. The offense will feed off of it.
Quick pitch, right side. It's the sophomore King looking for some separation. Got it past the line of scrimmage, but not a whole lot more. He was sidestepping on that one. And the Raiders able to close at the sideline.
You see number 84 Ryan there making a nice play over there for Walton as they get across the line, get penetration in the backfield right there. And actually that was number 16 who came up and make the big play, Mattingly, for a nice job to get him going sideways. You see Caleb King there, 7 rushes for 87 yards. Tell you what, since that first rushing touchdown of the first quarter, he hasn't done much of anything else because he had 80 yards on that first scamper that he had to the end zone.
Shotgun, it's 3rd down and 10 for Parkview. Witt with the snap, short drop, raises, here comes the pressure, they flush him now, dumps it over, hits intercepted. It's picked off by Tyler Perry, the linebacker. Perry was circling at his linebacking spot, and look what he found. Witt threw it right to him.
Well, it first started with Garrett Ryan making a nice spin move out there on the end to put some pressure on Witt, and Witt sidestepped him, but it took his eyes off the receiver. When you do that, sometimes you don't realize what's going on, and right in this case, Walton steps in there and makes a big interception. This is the way they would like to start off the second half.
The scouting report on the Panthers was that if you could shut down the running game, put pressure up front, and force Witt to make some throws, you may have a chance to win the football game. There they get an interception. We'll see how they fare out on offense. Applegate, quick pitch. He goes right side. Howland with the football, but Howland hit hard at the line of scrimmage.
Well, a little misdirection there with trying to get those guys to follow Justin Forte, and really a nice play, but it just didn't quite develop the way that they wanted it to.
Howland stopped for no gain on the play. If ever there were an opportunity for the Raiders, they're facing it right now. Perry comes away with the interception. They're down at the 20-yard line of Parkview. 2nd down and 11. Howland lost 1 on the previous play. Play fake. Flags at the line of scrimmage.
See the Walton player starting to back up and walk back the other way, so that's a pretty good indication that it's going to be against Walton.
Initial call. And we'll get the final here.
Dead ball. Baltimore on the offense. 2nd down.
So the Raiders continuing to be their own worst enemy in this football game. They get hit with the assessment there. So 2nd and 16 now. They're back to the 25. On the draw play, Forte right side, and Forte had a hole, but they closed it quickly on him. And a nice crunching hit up front by Jervis Hines and Grayson Matheson for the Panthers. Forte saw the daylight, but couldn't get there quick enough.
Yeah, I tell you what, Forte is the guy that they are going to have to, I'm going to throw this down for Nelly. They're going to have to get hold of him, because if they, as long as they can do that and get hold of it, then they have a good chance of having some success when they keep the ball out of his hands.
shotgun for Applegate. Here comes the pressure. Unloads, batted around, and it's picked off. They go back the other way. McLaren on the interception for Parkview. So the Panthers take back what was stolen from them, and they'll have it from their own 20-yard line.
Well, you know what? In that case, Applegate had a great deal of pressure there from him, from one of the Parkview defenders, which caused him to probably get a little bit offset with the ball. His feet wasn't set, were not set. As you see there, he gets up just before he throws the ball, which caused him to throw the ball maybe a little bit off.
The pressure up front really forced him to unload it early, Gerald, and it was Daniel Bollinger, the senior linebacker, who comes away with that interception. And Coach Dudley's got to be concerned because that was an opportunity golden for them that they just didn't capitalize on. So Parkview pitching it right side to King. King dances past one defender and pushes the pack near the 25.
Yeah, I knew it was going to happen. You know, you get a little over anxious. You know, you get out there. I know that they're upset about it, but cooler heads must prevail here on Walton's side because you don't want to. Again, the penalties have already hurt you. Turnovers have hurt you. You don't want to do anything silly like that at the end of the play to even, make it even worse.
Garrett Watts at the end of that play on the tackle of King. Let's go down to John Nelson.
Dead ball. Personal foul on the defense. That's the first down.
All right, let's talk about Daniel Bollinger real quick. Number 2, the player that just made the pick for Parkview. Talk about what he's gone through. He broke a vertebrae against Camden County at the Kell Classic this year. Out only 3 weeks. Came back for Brookwood as a freshman, broke his collarbone, did it again as a sophomore. Spider bite as a junior. He's nicknamed Spider-Man.
Boy, he's gone through a lot, hasn't he?
Lived a whole life.
3 weeks after cracked vertebrae. Tough guy. King right side for the Panthers. Works it near midfield and looks to have enough for the Panther first down.
Well, I tell you what, that was a nice setup play there with that Parkview offensive line. They just moved people out the way, and King accelerated. I mean, he stepped on it in a hurry when he had a chance to get going. As you see, the offensive line there just coming off of the ball for them. Number 8, Brian McLaren, he had a nice pull there to get a pancake block in there and set that big run up for King there.
So it's psychology time down on the field right now. The Panthers trying to make a point. As the Raiders had an interception, not able to convert on it, they throw an interception. Panthers trying to get a touchdown here. They will really destroy their psyche. As King works to the right side, and King continuing to psych him out. He runs it close to another Parkview first down.
Well, I tell you what, you watch this guy's feet here on this. You know, in the NFL now, it's a big thing to watch the guy's feet when they run. But here, coming through the hole here, keeps his feet moving, makes a nice move there, another nice move. Keeping the whole time he's running, he's going forward, never getting east and west, never turning his shoulder pads so the guys can get him going that in a different direction. Nice run by King.
Garrett Watts on the stop, Gerald. Yep. Not until after Caleb King, the sophomore, runs it for another Parkview first down. They go this time to Mong right side. Mong works his way near the 35-yard line. The pack pushes him back, but forward progress will have him marked near the 35.
About a 5-yard gain, and I tell you what, don't sell this Walton team short because they are still coming off the ball. They're coming off extremely hard. Had a couple of bad breaks here from the standpoint of the offense, but you can't say enough about the defense. They are coming at them. They are slamming them up front. So tough yards down there to come by.
Of course, the Panthers early exit polls last year, meaning they lost in the quarterfinals to Newnan, and that's inspired them tremendously this season to get back here into the semifinals and actually go on to the championship. Working their way toward it right now as King spins left side. A flag coming in from the side judge. We'll check it out. King close to the first down marker, about 2 yards shy. But they're going to pull this one back for the hold.
Usually a receiver or something out there trying to hold the block because the running back's coming that way. So you try to hold it and hold it and hold it as long as you can. Sometimes you get called for the holding.
King on the replay. Hold coming just in front of him.
Holding on the offense. Replay, second down.
We're talking about that quarterfinal loss to Newnan last year by the Panthers. And that ball game, they lost that one in the Big Orange Jungle on the Parkview campus. So they were just really upset about that and really made that a part of their dedication for this year.
Right.
To come in and go beyond that round and to claim another state title. Witt checking with Mong in the backfield. Misdirection now. They come back left side. Mong with the carry. Garrett Ryan, the senior for Walton, on the stop. Injured Panther down on the field. Looks to be Antonio Mong, the running back.
Looks like boy, I hate to see that knee buckled up underneath him right when he was turning around, kind of twisting in a very, very difficult situation to be in as a running back because you can't move, and when the pressure is falling on you like that from the defenders, you can't get your feet out of the ground, whether it's turf or grass. You never want to see that situation with a running back.
On the replay, see if we can identify what happened. There, he extended that right knee. You see it underneath the pile. A couple of players falling on top of it. Just kind of got it caught up under the pack of players.
That one didn't look good at all. It's not supposed to go that way, and hopefully that young man is not going to be too seriously hurt.
They're trying to stand him up, so that is a good sign for Mong and the Parkview side. See if we can't get a read on really what the status of the injury is, but as you see, Antonio Mong going off the field for Parkview.
I would be very, very surprised if that young man would come back in the game, because that was not a very good looking. No injuries ever very good looking, but that situation that he was in did not look very good for him. As you see, he had 4 rushes and 9 yards on the night. But that would be a very, very big loss for them in their backfield.
Mong, the leading ground carrier for the Panthers throughout the course of the season. So that means a lot of the load in terms of running the football, if he's not able to return, will fall on the sophomore Caleb King. 3rd down and 14 now for Parkview. From the 44, as Witt takes the snap, looking upfield, fires down the middle, pass going to be caught, and streaking down the middle looks to be Daryl Miller again. And indeed it was. Miller streaking right in and split the defenders on defense and scores a touchdown after a beautifully thrown pass by quarterback Jeff Witt.
And that was really nice on Witt's half. You know, he was getting a lot of pressure from the Walton front 4, and they were really coming after him. But look what he does here. He sits back, he gets his feet, he steps up in the pocket. When you're able to do that, then you're able to make completions like that on a consistent basis. And very, very nice read, very nice throw, and get the touchdown. And they go up again here by 3 touchdowns here now.
Brett Schneider on now to try the point after. And the kick by Brett Schneider is good, and the Panthers lead it now 21-0 over the Raiders of Walton High. And Walton's got to be feeling pretty edgy at this point because the Panthers have done what they wanted to do coming out of the break. They get another score.
No doubt about it. They're right now for kind of have to look at their game plan and figure out what in the heck can they do at this point in time, because they've thrown pretty much everything that they could at Parkview, and they haven't been able to really move them and get anything going on offense. So at this point in time, you're going to have to really consult with your coaches and say, hey, guys, what's going to work here?
Scoring drive, 6 plays, 80 yards, 2 minutes, 43 seconds. Capped off with the 45-yard touchdown grab by Daryl Miller, his 2nd score of this ball game. And there are folks who criticized the Parkview program in terms of the way that they approach football, kind of a boring approach to it, methodical running the football over the past few years. But this year, the Panthers have opened it up and incorporated a passing game. And believe it or not, there are a lot of folks who are critical now, saying that the Panthers are nothing but flash and don't have a whole lot of substance to it. Well, some people you just can't satisfy.
No, you can't, and you never will. But you know what I really like about what Coach Flo has done is that he has tailored his team according to the players that he has.
Indeed.
You know, every year they're going to be a different group of guys that come along that you have to tailor your team to, the plays, how you utilize the players. So he's done an excellent job with doing that and keeping up with the times.
Brett Schneider with the pooch kick left side. Strickland grabs it at the sideline. They're trying to take that football out of their hands in terms of a run back. And that time, Brett Schneider intentionally kicking it toward the sideline.
Well, I know that, you know, Walton would probably say on a play like that, hey, let's just let it go out of bounds. Okay, you know, if it gets out of bounds, we'll get another 10 yards on that play.
1st and 10. Panthers leading at 21-0. Coach Cecil Flo, 142 wins, just 21 losses in his 11th year at Parkview. And just for those folks who nag the Panther program, you just take a look at their stats. You look at Coach Flo on the screen in terms of what he's done. This program has amassed 4 state titles, and they even had a 46-game win streak. So I don't know what else you want.
You can see him back there asking about his running back's knee and how is he doing.
Left side, Forte working it toward the sideline for the Raiders. Chased out of bounds by Darrell Miller, the senior. Forte picking up a nice ground gainer for the Raiders on that play. Miller on the night for Parkview goes both ways, doesn't get very much rest during the ball game. 45-yard touchdown reception, and he scored one on defense as well with the 85-yard interception return.
You're right, he's only had his hands on the ball twice, both for touchdowns.
Boy, you're making memories you'll never forget when you have a night like that.
In the dome on GPB TV.
2nd down and 2. Forte looking for the room, but just wrapped up by 2 or 3 Parkview players as he tried to work it right side. At the sideline, take a look at the Antonio Mong, the sophomore running back for Parkview.
Doesn't look good.
Still working on that right knee.
When they start throwing the ISO in there, it's time to sit down. And you can just tell by the expression on his face that he's not very happy.
1st and 10 now. Left side, Forte looking for some room. They hit him at the line of scrimmage and force him back. Not a whole lot there. Surge made by Esmond, the safety, and you lower the linebacker.
And Esmond made a nice play in there with turning the ball back in. That Parkview defense, they stretch him out in there, and they get him to not get outside. That's what you don't want to have happen with Forte. As you see here, they hold their ground and get him back inside to make the play and stop him for a very short game.
2nd down. Under 5 minutes remaining in this 3rd quarter. Applegate. Short hitch pass across the middle, batted at the line of scrimmage. He was trying to get it to the speedy Michael Strickland, that knocked down at the line. Looks like it was Gollin that got a hand up to knock it down.
Couldn't see the number first, but Gollin again makes another big play here. He's been the man that's been leading this defense all year long. They missed one of their linebackers, Gila, on the year, number 10, with a broken jaw, but certainly Gollin has been a guy that has been pretty much the workman for this team.
On the ground, Forte looking for some room. He's got some, springs it past the 40 up near the 43-yard line. 2 or 3 yards shy of the 1st down marker, but a good lunging effort by Forte.
It just came probably a shoestring away from making that a big play, maybe even getting the 1st down, but he was going for it, but came up short.
Well, that'll force a punting situation. Ross Garrett on to punt it away. Jason Fisher, the junior, set to receive. 4th and 4. They're going to fake it. Garrett rolls left side, got a man out in the flats. Catch made on the turn. It's Stolreyer. Stolreyer down near the 25-yard line.
Then he fumbled the ball.
He fumbles the football.
I'm not sure if they got it back or not.
They unpile it. They're going to say, looks like they're saying he was down by contact. And if that's the case, that's a big play for the Raiders.
Big play for Walton. You know, I was wondering with the formation that they had if they were going to run the fake here, because they had this guy spread out. It looked like they tried, and sometimes they give off little cues, you know. They were kind of confused with what they were trying to do. Then when they lined up and got back here, he makes a nice little left-hand little throw out there right on the money.
Perfect pass by Garrett.
And yeah, it was, I'll tell you what, would have been a big play.
Looks like they recovered it. Indeed, it was a fumble.
Well, it looks like it's going to be a
senior linebacker.
Legal man downfield, possibly, and they left it bringing it back.
Oh, no. That's the call. Indeed, you're right. Didn't see the flag down on the surface. But that will be the call.
Man.
Ineligible downfield on the offense. Replay, 4th down.
That hurts. That hurts. You know, that you get that situation. You have the perfect play on, the perfect fake on, and somebody gets downfield. You know, you say these things before you come off the sideline. Everybody knows what their roles are, but then somebody just has a mental lapse right there, and that's what happens.
Garrett with the kick for the Raiders. It'll bounce near the 15, and that's where Parkview takes it on offense. You heard the crowd here at the Dome not happy about that call, but you can't fault the officials. It's about execution. Coach Dudley not happy about it, but the Raiders have only themselves to blame for that. They had the perfect play. We caught up with Coach Cecil Flo before the ball game to get his thoughts about what's special about this year's Parkview football team.
Their work product. I mean, they're really businesslike about their work habits. They don't complain about practice times. We practice very, very long, and they have meetings and they have film sessions, and they've just been really good at that. I haven't heard one complaint out of them, and they play just like they practice. I mean, we practice very hard, and they take that to the game field. That's been good.
Back on the field, right side, Caleb King with the football.
I don't think that many of his players are going to complain too much. They may not get a chance to see the field. That's kind of how it works these days.
You're absolutely right, Joe.
But Caleb King on a nice toss out to the right side, picking up a nice little chunk of yardage there. Similar play they scored on, and they're still going after those edges and trying to run on the outside of Walton.
Approaching 3 minutes remaining in the third quarter now. Witt on the ground to King. King spins it back to the inside, works it past the 30, up near the 32. Garrett Watts, the senior, on the stop for Walton. You're only allotted so many opportunities throughout the course of the game, Gerald. When you have them, you have to take advantage of them. That has not been the case for the Raiders thus far.
You are also right. When you have those chances, you cannot let them go. You know, they've had some opportunities here. Walton has to do some things to Parkview, but again, Parkview has they stuck to what they do best, and they don't make a whole lot of mistakes. And when you make them and you finally get them in a situation, you've got to capitalize.
2nd and 6 for Parkview on the right side. They work it at the corner, and bounced out of bounds is Jason Fisher after the carry right side. Fisher going to be close to the first down marker, but just about a yard shy. That'll make it 3rd and 1.
Well, you can see in here with Fisher carrying the ball that I'm sure that King has he doesn't get a chance to get as much of a breather as he did with earlier on in the game. So now he's going to have to use some other backs and some younger backs maybe just to give him a break.
3rd down and 1 for Parkview. On the ground, they give it to King. King sidesteps one defender, runs hard at the corner. He's got enough for the first down.
That's what I'm talking about. When you turn it upfield, you got to turn up with some purpose. And as a running back, you don't go out there tipping around.
You like that, did you?
Oh yeah, that's it. You don't have to be a big back to do that. I like to see the smaller guys do it. And in King's case, here he is. He gets here, he sidesteps, almost getting in the backfield. And then when he turns up, he's going for it.
We talked about it early on of running backs initiating the contact. And Caleb King, the sophomore, showing that he's well coached in initiating. 1st and 10. It's King again, spinning back to the right side, walking into the secondary now, near midfield, and falls ahead to the 49. Garrett Watts has been tailing him all game long. He'll accumulate a lot of tackles on the night, but a lot of those grabs are coming in the secondary after Caleb King is running for first down and big yardage.
And you know what, on that play there, Malcolm Freeberg, I tell you what, he had a chance to wrap him up in the backfield, but it got off. You've got to get these guys, again, we were talking about making the plays when you have an opportunity to do so. Walton has not been able to quite get those plays, but they're certainly playing tough, and you cannot say anything about their effort level, because they are definitely still getting after all the Parkview players.
So the Panthers coming to the line of scrimmage and get hit with a delay of game. A minute 33. Wall of flags. We had a chance to catch up with Coach Dudley before the ball game and get his thoughts about what's special with his team for this year.
Second down.
This is an outstanding group of seniors. We're getting a lot of good junior playing time, but our senior class really, they just have found a way to win week after week. We've got a great tailback, but the people that block for him are outstanding, and we play tough on defense. A lot of little guys playing with a lot of heart and just having fun on Friday nights.
Coach Dudley with a wonderful approach to coaching and telling us what he likes about that group. On the ground, it's Caleb King working at right side. Meets the pack near the 46-yard line. May have gotten 2.
Well, there's some bodies flying around out there. Boy, I tell you what, those guys are hitting. They are coming off the ball. The Parkview offensive line and the Walton front line, defensive front line, they are coming off. This is a game down there, boy. They're mean down there. They mean business. Even though they're behind right now, Walton is playing extremely tough, extremely hard down there.
Wenzel led the charge for the Raiders. 3rd and 6. We're under a minute remaining third. Play fake in the line. Witt looking upfield. Here comes the pressure. Unloads early. Pass going to be incomplete. Near the 46-yard line. Is intended for the tight end, Stephen Gowland. But Witt, with a lot of pressure, had to unload it a bit early.
And that's that Freeburg kid again. He has been all in the backfield. Every single opportunity he gets, he's rushing the ball. Big pressure by him.
Flush him right side. So Brent Schneider on now to punt it away for Parkview. Turns it over. Fair catch called for by Taylor Molatoris for the Raiders. And they'll have decent field position starting from the 27-yard line. About 18 seconds remaining in this third quarter. Panthers leading it by 3 touchdowns. The Raiders have got to try to find an answer here.
I'm just going to say that they're going to have to go in their bag and see what they can pull out, because they have they've got the time is working against them right now.
And the stat on your screen isn't good news for the Raiders. Applegate, of his last 3 passes, 2 of them have been picked off for interceptions. But he's going to have to throw it to make up this deficit. On the ground. Inside is Holland. Holland space free from one defender. Works it up near the first down marker. Travis Sutter, the junior, on the stop. It will depend on the mark. Looks like he's got enough for the first, but we'll wait and see.
Working hard, working hard. He was twisting and turning and trying to make something happen in there. Nice misdirection play. Of course, everybody's looking at Forte, but he comes back on underneath, picks up a nice chunk of yards there for almost a first down.
That brings us to the end of the third quarter. After 3, it's the Panthers of Parkview leading it 21-0 over the Raiders of Walton. We'll step aside for a timeout, and we'll come back with the 4th and final quarter from the Georgia Dome. Back live at the Georgia Dome, we head into the 4th and final quarter. Parkview leading at 21-0 over Walton High School. Winner advances to the 4A state championship against the Vikings of Lowndes High. The winner of this ball game will actually host the 5A championship. Applegate in the backfield, going up top now, trying to get it to Strickland. That one's going to be picked off. They lost it on the catch. They'll see if they rule it a fumble after the interception, but no, they're going to rule it incomplete. Darrell Miller, the senior, would have had his 2nd interception of the ball game had he been able to pull it down.
Now, I was wondering if maybe if he was bobbling a ball. So as we're going to see here on the replay, that I thought he held on to it long enough until he hit the ground. Well, no, he didn't have it. He didn't have a good call. And you know what? I had to give props to the camera guys and all the guys on the replay, because they do an excellent job with getting all of the shots, all of the action. We don't have to ever sit up here and worry about missing anything.
Absolutely.
They get it all.
Like, take that shot there, right on the ground. Working at left side, Forte is initiating some action himself. Got it up to the 40, near the 42-yard line. Went man-on-man with Travis Sutter.
And Sutter has been one of the rocks on defense over there for that Parkview team for quite some time. Very, very tough defense. They continue to keep plugging guys in every year because they have the talent there in that program.
1st and 10 after the run by Forte left side. Just underway in the 4th quarter. Charles Ward, Gerald Riggs, John Nelson with the play call. Walton's got to make some things happen. They go on the ground. Forte flags at the line of scrimmage. Forte breaks it into the secondary at the 40. Spins his way near the 30-yard line, but will check the flag out. This one likely coming back.
And that's unfortunate. You look at what this kid has done for the entire year. You come into a game like this when it just seems like things just don't go right for them. They're so used to good fortune. They don't know how to feel. It's weird when all of a sudden you get a game like this and all the bad things start to pile up in a game like this. It's not the time to have it happen.
The illegal procedure is a call against the Raiders, so that'll push them back.
Illegal formation. 6 men on the line of scrimmage. Replay first.
Second time they've gotten that call in the ball game where they've had 6 on the line of scrimmage.
It comes down to sometimes just mental errors. That's what there are.
8th penalty of the ball game against the Raiders.
Mental mistakes will help you lose a game sometimes quicker than anything.
1st and 15 now for the Raiders. Applegate looks like a busted play, rolling right side, trying to dump it out in the flats to Strickland anyway, but the pass goes incomplete, and here comes another flag.
You know what? I almost thought that they had that the same thing with what you mean on the line of scrimmage at the time. It seemed like one of the receivers was trying to move at the time.
This one likely going to be an ineligible man downfield. I don't think that was designed to be a pass.
I think it was unfortunately number 77 was just blocking. He was going out into his
ineligible downfield on the offense. Replay first down.
Yeah, he was just moving to block, and by way of him just trying to block and with the pocket, it was one of those moving pocket plays where the quarterback's going to the right side. The offensive lineman gets downfield. They're going to call that every single time.
So the Raiders backpedaling at this point. They face the 1st and 20 now. Applegate on the ground. Forte looking for a crease left side. Nothing there. Panthers so quick on defense to close the hole. Greg Billinger, the junior, in on the stop for Parkview.
Gator, all those guys, a whole bunch of them.
Could call a couple of names on that play.
They sure could. But Gator Parker's been all over the place. He's played one whale of a game. Really just kind of one of those guys that just like I say, put on the old workman's hat and just pound away.
2nd down now. Sprint draw right side. Forte bounced one time, fights off one would-be tackler, spins the pack and works it up near the 43. Now they get it back to the original line of scrimmage, and that'll make it 3rd down and 10.
Well, you can say one person who's not giving up, and that's Forte. He is absolutely getting after it. This kid here, like I said, had some heart. I saw that in the 1st quarter, but as he's playing right now, he's taking a lot. And Parkview has been getting after him the whole night. As you can see, he's had his hands on his knees. It's usually a sign that, hey, I'm getting a little tired here. Let me pull over here to the gas station or whatever. But I don't think there's anybody out there who can probably bring a game open like him. So guess what? He's going to stay on the field.
Flags coming in at the line of scrimmage before they actually get there. Likely a delay of game against the Raiders. Indeed it was. Things starting to fall apart now for Coach Ed Dudley and his Raiders. He's recognizing that from the sideline.
Well, that's one of those that the coaches...
Dead ball foul. Illegal substitution on the offense. Replay 3rd down.
Well, they've got to know the coaches, I'm sure they know what's going on out there. And it was, I'm sure there was nothing that they tried to do. Sometimes, again, that guy doesn't get out of the huddle or is not aware of him not having to be. He's got to be off of the field. before they break the huddle.
3rd down and 14 after the penalty. Applegate play fake, and here comes a jailbreak by the Panthers, but they get the pass off out in the flats. And getting it on the catch, but back to the initial line of scrimmage is Malcolm Freeberg, the senior.
And I'll tell you what, Gallon made one heck of a play there, rushing on the play and then getting back in on the action to run him down from behind. As you see here, as he turns and he starts running, you see Gallon here, he's coming in on the rush, but then he sees the play developing, and he turns around and he gets on the, as we call it, get on the pony, and catches and run that play down from the back.
That'll be 4th down now for the Raiders, and they'll punt it away. Ross Garrett to kick it. And it takes a Raider bounce near the 12-yard line and goes out of bounds.
Well, we'll see what this Walton defense can do.
While we got a break, we talked to Coach Cecil Flo and got his thoughts about what he loves about the business of coaching.
You know, it's just an opportunity to see kids mature, see kids that you know have a chance to do this, and they just need to mature a little bit, and physically and mentally, and then to get them in there and get them comfortable on offense or defense and having them be role players or where they be everyday players.